Awesome.
Wow, my left ear is done.
Yeah, you play loud.
You gonna put your headset on? Headset on? Right behind you, yeah.
Hi, everybody.
Yes.
Welcome to Friday's edition of the live show.
Yeah, normally this happens every Tuesday, but this is the only day Lionel could make it out, and so we wanted to make sure we accommodated him and got him here to come teach you guys some stuff. And as you can see, he knows what he's doing. I think you know what you're doing, hey?
Pardon me, sorry, I couldn't hear you.
Oh, yeah. You know what you're doing, it sounds like. So normally this happens every Tuesday, but this week we're doing it on a Friday. And normally it happens at 4, but this week we're doing it at 1 o'clock. And we have a special guest out, Mr. Lionel Duperron. Welcome.
Thank you.
I would shake your hand, but it's a little bit far. And Lionel's playing my DW kit. I usually don't even let Dave play my DW kit.
Oh, really? Oh,
Yeah.
I feel so privileged.
You better
Consider yourself very lucky.
And you beat the crap out of my cymbals.
That's okay. They're your symbols, not mine. Right?
Exactly.
That's okay.
But it sounded good. That's a heavy metal track from an upcoming product you did, hey?
Yes, called the drum fill system.
Oh,
sorry. Was I not supposed to say that? I mean, it's about drums.
Yeah, exactly. Let me just take a little drink here.
so can everybody hear us? Like every time we always have another mic or minus a mic. So are we all okay with levels? You guys want to? Yes, good to go.
Good.
Good to go.
Can you hear Lionel? Say hello, Lionel.
Hello, check.
Perfect. Everybody seems to be good. Lionel, can you hear us?
Yep.
Okay.
Yes, Jared the monkeys.
Lionel's a little quiet, but everything else sounds good.
Okay. Cool. Okay, so what we're gonna do today is Lionel's gonna do all the teaching. As you can see, we don't even have a drum kit, nor do we have drumsticks. So we're gonna just sit over here and try not to look ugly.
I'm gonna have to try. I do a pretty good job of that.
Okay, and Lionel's gonna be teaching you guys something that I didn't learn for a couple years going into my drumming, and after I learned it, it literally completely changed the way I approach the drums and the way I play the drums. Because once you understand the motions and how and the way we actually hit the drums and the way we're supposed to in the best way, it'll open it up, your drumming up to like a whole different realm. And so, you were an awesome teacher. You still are, and I think these people are super privileged to have you giving them a lesson, especially at no charge. I mean, he does the free drum lessons, but this is like you can ask questions later if you're in the chat, and this is a huge opportunity for all you guys out there. And so, I'm really thankful for you coming out.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thanks for having me.
No problem. So with that said, let me just go through a few more things here. Yes, you can. If you're watching this on Free Drum Lessons Live, there's a little box on the right that's our Facebook fan page. Follow that, okay? Follow that, and you can keep up to date with all the live lessons as well as all the freedrumlessons.com lessons. And like Lionel spilled, we're going to be launching some really cool stuff in the next little while. Also follow me on Twitter, twitter.com/Jared
/ Jared Falk.
Jared_Falk.
Jared_Falk? Doesn't even know his own URL.
What's your Twitter?
Twitter
Do you twit?
/ free drum lessons.
No, you don't. That's not your Twitter. You're such a liar. Dave always lies to me during lessons. This week we're giving away some prizes. Lionel is giving away a few of his drum movement systems. We're going to tell you about that at the end of the show. So you have to stick around. That's our ploy to get you to stay here the whole time. So with that said, I think I just want to throw it to you, man. And we're going to be watching the chat while this is going, so feel free to ask questions. We're going to be kind of screening them because I know there's going to be a lot of people in there today, a lot of people asking questions, and I can't bombard Lionel with it. So if your question is relevant to this lesson, we'll pass it on to him. We'll do our best if there's time. Okay, so with that said, Lionel, go into it. They're going to throw the sheet music and the exercises on screen while you go through, so just go through them. And if you don't have the sheet music, you can download it from the freedrumlessons.com forums. It's the sticky topic right at the top called Live Drum Lesson with Lionel Duperron.
Great.
Go ahead.
Well, like Jared said, this type of technique, the approach, the motions, the molar, he even didn't learn until a couple years after he started playing. Myself, I played for 15 years without really understanding and just kind of did my own thing. And then I had to relearn everything. And it was just a real drag because everything took that much longer because I had the muscle memory taking place. Muscle memory is just when you do a pattern over and over, your gut muscles will begin to memorize the motion to the point that you don't have to think about it. You can just do it naturally. So I memorized everything, how to do it the wrong way and just working really hard for each stroke. And I just want to go back to the basics to make sure that everybody has a crystal clear understanding of how the motion's working. And it helps to make you so much more musical. Like, I'm just going to play a basic beat for an example. And I'm just play it without the motions, and then I'm going to go right into it playing with the motion so you can hear the difference. So, like this. So the main voice I'm focusing on with the motions is the hi-hat. You probably heard in the first section it was this kind of ch-ch-ch-ch-ch. Not to discredit that feel, because that still can be a very cool feel in an alternative setting, and you don't want to say, oh, we can't play our hi-hat that way. That's not the case. I'm trying to just broaden your horizon so that you'll have more to choose from to be more musical. With the motions on the hi-hat, when I was first introduced to the voice of the hi-hat playing it musically, I watched a Dave Wacko video, and he was talking about, he didn't really say up and downstroke, he was just kind of showing basically how to approach it. And one way I like to do is try to do, as he said, with the shoulder of the stick, on the edge of the hat, on the downstroke, tip of the stick, on the flat, on the up. So the hi-hat just by itself is like this. Now you can see the motion that takes place with the hand here. It's not a force, it's very natural. Therefore, when it's more natural, you're going to be more musical and you'll have more fluidity. So you see as I come up, I just kind of drop the wrist out. And the wrist is really playing the pattern just naturally, just relaxing it. Okay? That way it helps the hi-hat to produce more of a pulse. It's like every voice that we're playing on the kit produces a type of energy. So you got your hi-hat producing energy, your snare and your kick and everything. But when they play all together, it just becomes this beautiful musical ball of energy. It's just like playing in a band. You know, if you have your drummer playing good energy and your bass player good energy, guitarist, vocalist, whatever the ensemble is, if they're playing together, it's beautiful. It's quite exciting. But if they're not really in time, the energy is dispersed and the music becomes very flat and you kind of lose the groove. It's the same way we want to get our voices, or our limbs, playing together on the kit. Now, if I play this in a halftime feel, it'll be easier to kind of see how the pulse happens here. So the halftime feel, I'm just doing the kick on beat 1, and then the snare on beat 3. So I'll play it again without the motions, and then with the motions. So you got this. So you can see how it kind of just livens up that section that much more. Again, it's to create diversity. It's not to say the first routine is just wrong. It's just a different approach. And I think in playing music, it is very subjective to a point, but there's a point there that the populace has established what they like the most. And this is one of those things. Even when you listen to techno music, it's all technical. There's no instruments no one's playing, but it's got a real mean pulse to it. It's just grooves. And why is that? It's because the internal dynamics that are laid within the music, that's what helps it to pulse. So on our first beat, it's just a straight ahead beat with a kick on 1 and 3, snare on 2 and 4, just like I did in that first example. Now the problem is, what people will get into is when they hit the downstroke, they allow the stick to come up like this. You don't want, the upstroke is low. So the downstroke is high, downstroke produces an accent, and then it stays low to produce a quieter stroke on the up. So I just drop it out, right? So as it goes down, up. And it's the economy of motion. I'm doing really just one motion, just going like this, but I'm getting 2 strokes for it. Now again, in the first groove, it's just the downstroke with the kick and the snare, like this. Okay. Now we go to beat number 2. It's just got 2 kick drums, but now it gets a little bit trickier because you have the upstroke as you're pushing down into the bass drum. If you find this a little bit tricky at first, just stop to that one note, the upstroke with the bass drum, just going like this. Because it's kind of an opposite motion, say. And then you try the 2 beats going, so down, up. And then beat number 2 would be like this. Then when you get to beat number 3, it just puts the bass drum on the end of 3 and the end of 4. So now you have again that offbeat bass drum on the upstroke. Now the whole beat sounds like this. And then number 4, you got 1 and 4. So the bass drum and the whole beat, sounds like this. So the tricky part is always getting that on that up. So what I suggest, if you find it kind of tricky just to play that beat as it is, play the hi-hat with just the bass drums going on the and. So you'll that way you get more of a feel of the and with the up and the hitting in the bass drum, and then add the snare in.
Lionel, some people are asking here, when you're doing the upstroke, are you changing anything in the grip, or is your grip staying the same the whole way through? Because I think some people are seeing the fingers close on the stick more, whereas when you go to the downstroke, there's more of an open feel with the grip. So how does it change, and what should they be thinking when they're doing that?
Well, ideally, you want to get to the point where you're not thinking, but as you want to break it down, it's a very good question, by the way, because my grip always fluctuates. Sometimes I'll hold it in a very precision spot, if I'm doing a jazz thing and I want more bounce, more control of the fingers. Sometimes when I'm playing a rock thing or something where it's more open, it could be like this, where there's not a lot of control to it. It's just really nice and loose to give me lots of tone. So when I'm playing, my grip goes in and out and all over the place. But what you want to do is kind of make sure that in whatever position that you're in, that you're relaxed. But if I get too relaxed all the time, the stick's going to go all over the place, because the stick naturally wants to go like that. And I can't play any upstrokes if I let the stick do that. So what I need to do is hold it in position so it keeps the stick low. Then I come up. See, if I relax it too much, it does that little shake. It's going to throw my timing off and my feel. So very good question, because when I do hit, I never thought about this. I just played it naturally. I hit it, and I need to hold the stick in that position. Because if I don't, then it's going to be even that much more difficult to control. Good.
Cool. Okay, thank you.
Any others? Or
Yeah, we'll just keep going through and we'll fire a few more.
So with those first 4 beats, what I would suggest is that you work it in through a little sequence so that you don't get comfortable with playing just one beat, and you can do, okay, just one beat with emotions. Because when you do, or when you're playing a tune, sometimes you do different little beat inflections or little fills that are very subtle, but you want to keep the motions going on the hi-hat. So I would suggest working that as in a little sequence, just doing each beat once. So it sounds something like this. And then just keep on repeating it and slowly working your speed up. On our next beat, we have it just going straight 16ths with the 2 bass drums on the 1 and the 3 and. So you basically get this feel. Again with the motions, up, down, up, down, up, down. Oops, there we go. Down, up, like that. So number 5 will be like this. Pretty straight ahead. And then number 6, we're just going to have a little pickup on the of 2 and the of 4. So now you get this feel. Again, it's that tricky part of hitting the up with that one bass drum there. So if that's a problem point for you, just go up, down, just to get more of a feel for that.
Lionel, a couple people are also talking about how you're playing some of them a little bit too fast, and they want to just get a little bit slower version so they can they can
Okay,
follow along. Do you
sure.
want to just do one of those 16-note ones a little bit slower so people can kind of
Sure.
see?
Number 5 you're talking about?
Sure, yeah.
Number 5 is me.
Okay, so number 5 is, and you want to keep in mind as you post questions, there is no stupid question because guaranteed any question you have, there's going to be tons of other people that want to know the same information but are too shy or don't know how to type or really
Don't know how to type.
Well, I don't know. People will come up with all kinds of excuses. Oh, I feel too tired. I don't want to look that way. Anyways, so with that, I appreciate that question because sometimes I get a little bit too excited. And it's just straight 16ths, just up and down, up and down. So we got the bass drum on the 1 and the and then on the 2 and the and. So it's like beat number 2, but it's filled in with 16ths. So slowly it'd be like this. So in some respects, it's a little bit easier because you got the kick drum going with your downstroke, right?
Cool.
Great.
Thank you.
And then we
Sorry to interrupt you. For those people that I know, there's a lot of people just showing up now. Can they see me talk here? What we're doing today, we're doing a live drum lesson. Lionel Duperron has agreed to come in and help us out with this lesson, teaching you all the necessary motions when you play different beats, and you're even going to teach when you do some fills. Lionel is the rudiment guy on our freedrumlessons.com website, as well as the author of the Drum Rudiment System Pack. So for those of you just showing up, that's exactly what's going on here, so stick around. There's lots more to come, and we're also going to be doing some giveaways at the end of the show. Okay? So don't.
If people are telling me to push you off your stool,
No.
just give them a shove.
You can push me on my stool.
Well, if I did, I'd push
We're
you.
gonna have
We're gonna be on a live lesson again.
we're gonna have a wrestling match, one lesson. That's for sure. So,
But they like your shirt, by the way.
oh, thanks.
Yeah, they think it's a snazzy looking shirt.
Thank you. I got it for Christmas.
Nice.
Yeah. Okay, so back to drumming. Let's go. Sorry to interrupt you. Go ahead.
Oh, that's
and
fine.
continue.
Jared said that I was going to be teaching all of the motions, and that actually I'm just going to maybe mainly focus on the up and down, because there's taps, there's medium full strokes, there's full strokes. It gets quite extensive. In the drum rudiment system, I do touch on that stuff, but we're kind of limited for time, so I'm going to talk about mainly the strokes that are going to give you a nice pulse. A lot of the tap strokes are just lower strokes that will naturally do them. It's just how you want to set up your accents and follow through on your accents, especially when you have multiple accents.
Cool.
So now we're on beat number 7. Now it gets a little bit trickier because now we have a kick drum on the ups. So for those who just showed up, it's down, up, through all the 16ths. Now when you get to the E of 2, it's going to be up with the bass drum, a down on beat 3, and then an up on the of 3. So I'll just play it, and then I'll slow it down nice and slow so you can see how it works. So. Now again, when we get to number 8, the tricky part again is the bass drum on the up. So I'll just play the pattern again, slow it down. It sounds like this. Okay, when we get to number 9, we have a little bit of an open and closed hi-hat. Now, what I find that generally helps to have, when you do it in an open and closed hi-hat, have a little bit of an accent with that. So that's where our full stroke comes in. But now what we do is we end up by flipping it. because we're doing down, up, and then right there it's going to be changed to an up, down. So it's going to reverse it, which will actually make the of 1 a tap stroke as opposed to an upstroke. So if I play just the hi-hat, that pattern, I will do it without the open close, just the motions. It's going to go like this. Because you want to have an accent when you hit the open and close hi-hat. It kind of allows the cymbals to sizzle a bit more, gives you a bit more action. So I'm going to do the beat, and then again I'll slow it down so it goes. Good. Now, good. Complimenting myself. That was great playing. Thank you very much.
It was good, Lionel.
Just hopefully that's clear. And what we're going to do now is we're going to do a little sequence 5 through 9, just each beat only once with the motions. So it sounds like this. Thank you for holding my music. I was like, oh no, am I going to make it? I can't read that. No.
I was just going to leave you hanging, but I decided to help you out.
Thanks. I appreciate your sensitivity. So, any questions about that? That's going well?
Yeah.
Yeah, a couple of people keep saying, would the wrist actions you're doing be similar to the molar method?
It is basically the molar. Sorry, I always refer to it as the motions. That's how I learned them from John Fisher. And he's just a monster, and he always referred to them as the motions that way. And it's just, the different motions that you get into. And I guess with the motions, I don't really talk about there's half molar and full molar when you're coming way up here and stuff like that. I try to make sure everything that I practice and study and teach is as applicable as possible, because I don't want to get carried off into something that's not what I find applicable. Some people might find it that way. That's great. But I find when you're doing that full molar and just wailing on your snare, it's great to get the looks and everything like that. But if you're playing along and your bass drum doesn't match that same volume, your beat's not going to have a groove, because the natural tension of beats go tension, release, tension, release. So if I'm trying to wail on my snare and playing a really moderately sounding kick drum, the beat's not going to feel really good. So you need to really dig into the kick drum, and then if you're doing the full molar, I found it not as applicable. So when I'm referring to the motions, they are the molar technique. It's just different jargon that way. Yeah, I think it's basically the same. I think John just didn't teach me about the full molar or anything like that. But
Okay, cool. Any other questions on that?
No, not about the beats.
Okay, good.
So now I just wanted to get into playing the fills. You wrote it different than my music here, Jared.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Lionel gave it to me.
No, which is fine. I can play it like this.
Well, how did you have it?
Just 1 bar beat, 1 bar fill. But you have it in a half bar phrase, so which is fine. Basically, when I'm working on certain fills and stuff, or teaching about certain fills, I don't make the student do 4 bar phrases, playing 3 bars a beat, and then you play your fill, and then you come back in. Because some teachers like to do that because it helps them to learn how to do 4 bar phrases. To me, that really comes quite natural when you just start playing the music. After a while of playing the music, it's just going to happen. It's going to be a very natural flow, so I don't want to waste time practicing stuff that I think is going to happen later anyways. So what I usually do is just do a bar beat, bar fill, bar beat, bar fill, because it works on just that transition.
So the way you had it written like 2 groups of 16th notes. Should those have been 8th notes to go over 1 full bar?
No, because then it go ace, ace would be 17th, it's going to be 16th, so it'd be twice the speed. So it's basically going a 4/4 bar.
We didn't even get that yet, so don't worry if you didn't.
No.
So that is like, is that supposed to be a 2 beat fill?
2/4. Yes.
Oh,
correct.
2/4.
Oh, I see.
Sorry, I didn't write the
Okay.
signature in there. I
Yeah,
should
yeah.
have did that.
That makes sense. I just assumed it was.
I just
at the end
assumed that everyone thinks like me. So why would it be an issue?
No
So-
problem.
And doing that, again, it's getting the motions. But the tricky part is coming out of the fill, hitting your crash on the downbeat, and then coming in for the upstroke. So the fill is just straight ahead, just 16ths. You can see in the second bar is just like this. And then you'd come in, hit the crash on the downbeat, and then you have to come in for the upstroke on the beat. So if I'm just going beat, fill, beat here, I'll just play it as written. So it'd be like this. So the whole thing is to keep the groove and the fill happening as one unit, so that once you hit the crash, you're coming back into this to the beat, but then the crash actually becomes the downstroke up and then down back into the beat.
I had one question about that fill that you were doing. So they were asking, are you doing the up and down motions on your left hand when you're doing the fill?
Sorry, the up and down motion.
Like, are you doing the same motions when you do the fill that you're doing on the hi-hats, and are you doing that with your left hand as well, or?
Oh, very good question. With the fill, it's all straights. There are no dynamics to it. It's just. So I'm not really doing any upstrokes or downstrokes, because the upstrokes and downstrokes are producing accents. That's when you kind of come high. These are basically referred to as medium full strokes, because you'll have your full stroke is for repeated accents. So I'm doing accent after accent. I just allow the stick to come up like that, because that's what it naturally wants to do. But my wrist guides it, so I can control the timing better. Okay. So if I have continuous accents on the one hand, you can see I just kind of let it come back up. Makes it easier to keep the accents going, as opposed to hitting an accent, having it low, and then picking it up, and then you're working harder that way. And that's what I did for countless years, as opposed to just letting the stick do what it wants to. So when I do continuous accents, I use the full stroke. In this fill, I was using what is called a medium full stroke. So you got your full stroke, which is high, starts high, ends high. That's a full stroke. Medium full stroke is basically half the distance. Then you'd have your tap strokes down here. So when I went to that fill, I was doing roughly a medium full stroke, just about here. So you can hear, there are no accents there. It's not like, I wasn't doing anything like that. It's just straight time, just from the wrist, medium full stroke. Okay.
Perfect. Thank you.
Yeah, perfect.
On our next fill, it's just basically same type of concept, going 8ths to 16ths. So the fill is twice as fast, 2 on each tom, and again hitting the crash for the downstroke, upstroke on the hi-hat. Go like this. There. Need
Yeah,
a
so-
16-inch floor tom.
Yeah. So even when you're hitting the crash from a crash far away, you still recommend coming back and doing an upstroke, because I think a lot of people are saying to hit something farther away from your kit, it would be harder to come back and do an upstroke.
Yes, which is very good. It just depends. Good point. It's a good. Depends where you come in, because if you hit your crash here and you come in like this, then it's going to be hard to hit an upstroke, because you want the upstroke to be quieter, right? So what you do is you hit your crash, and you just come in like that. So it's whether you come in up here or you come in here, your arm is still moving. It's just that you want to get closer to the surface, produces a quieter stroke, and it allows you to have more of a pulse, more of a groove.
Yeah.
So it'd be going like this, and then up, as opposed to And just so instead of just coming right down, you just kind of come in and up.
So you can maintain the pulse of the groove. So if your groove before you went into the fill was doing the up down stroke coming off after the crash, it would just stay exactly the same. You'd be right back into that pattern rather than having to just do 2 straight downs or something, which would sound a little bit awkward.
Yeah, which again, which is not too. What should I say? Music is very subjective, so you don't want to say this is so. I learned this on the internet, so this must be right. Well, the stuff we can learn on the internet. I don't know if I agree with everything, but it's not really 2 downs. 2 downs would be an alternating stroke, but because a downstroke starts high, ends low.
Right.
So if I start high and low, I can't do another down because I'm not high.
Right.
So I need an upstroke to get me to the downstroke.
Yeah. Or a full stroke.
Well, full stroke is a continued accent, right? So if I have an upstroke, downstroke, and then I hit the down, I don't go to a tap, I go back up from a full. So a full comes from a downstroke or a full stroke.
Yeah. So a full stroke could never be followed by an upstroke.
A full stroke?
Yeah. A downstroke could never be followed by a full stroke.
Yeah, you're getting the idea.
It's not like that, right? It's been a while. It's been a while.
At times we kind of overanalyze music
Yeah.
and just, but I understand I'm a very analytical player, and that's when I wanted to get into this, and I had to understand and ask all these questions and that, and I went to music college and it was great. And after music college, it took me probably 3 or 4 years just to learn how to play music again because I was so into thinking of how to do it.
Yeah.
So you want to get your basic pulse. If you come down and you hit kind of a medium full stroke and then an up and then it's
the musical career is over.
That's it. I mean, become a paperweight the rest of your life there. That's it.
No, obviously, yeah, it's subjective, and whatever works for your musical situation, that's what they obviously should do.
Because it's about conveying something to your hearers, and if they like what they hear, they will want to hear more.
Yeah, exactly.
Cool. So, and like I say, the general populace has kind of determined what they like and what they don't like. Right. So in our next fill number 12, it's just first tom snare, second tom snare, floor tom snare, 16th, 8th, 16th, 8th, 8th, quarter. So sorry, is that too fast?
It's very fast.
Well, they have the music right there.
Yeah,
right?
they have the music. Yeah.
Sorry.
That's fine.
So the fill, just the fill, is like this. Okay. Now, I can do that as a double stroke with the right hand. Or alternating. I suggest doing it both. That way you kind of get a feel for a double or alternating as well. So now, that with a beat, it would sound like this. So it's kind of the idea of that one.
Great. So that is the 12 exercises. If you guys are just getting here, I know there's some people that don't know what's going on. This sheet music can be downloaded in our forums at freedrummlessons.com/drum-forums. Go there and you can find the topic in the general drumming section. It's called Live Lesson with Lionel Duperron, who's you. And Lionel put together these exercises for us today so we could learn some of the drumming motions. And it kind of branched off into a few other ones, but too bad we don't have 6 hours, hey?
Yeah.
Then we could
maybe next time.
Maybe next time. Maybe next time. Great. So we're going to be doing a contest any minute now, but I also Lionel's only played one song, and so I asked him like 10 minutes before he went on, like, hey, do you want to do a drum solo? And Lionel's like, really, a drum solo? And I said, yeah. So I'd love it if you could do one. I don't know if you're still up for it.
Sure.
Yeah?
Whatever.
Trying to blast my ears too much. But
are you going to stay there for it? Because I find these mics really kill the tone of the drums. Like,
really?
I don't know if you can mute the mics or something.
Yeah, they'll mute the mic.
Is that too loud for you? See, that's the motions. You can get a really loud stroke.
Whoa!
See? So you can get a lot of energy from the motions.
Wow.
Up, down. Sorry.
We're gonna do a video on changing drum heads next week.
Okay, yeah. So give us a solo. I might step back for a second.
No.
Yeah.
I'll be more
Hey, Victor, mute my mic. Thank you.
Nice.
There you go. Just pulls it out off the cuff. I don't know if they can hear me yet. Can you guys hear me? Am I back?
We're good?
Great. Well,
Perfect.
man, thank you so much for coming.
you're
out.
welcome.
Yeah, these, like I said earlier, these drummers are truly privileged to have a guy out to show them that and to not actually charge whatever you charge. I know you don't teach a lot privately anymore, but he was expensive when he did. No, I'm just joking. I'm just joking. Okay, so this week's contest is a little bit different than last week. Basically, what we're doing is we're giving away 3 drum rudiment system packs. So I think they can throw a graphic of what that includes on screen. 3 drum rudiment system packs. And this is authored by Lionel. It's 13 hours of drum rudiment training. And he also goes through all those motions. I know he gave you 12 exercises, but I think in that pack there's hundreds.
Yeah,
Over
different
600,
fills
yeah.
and stuff.
Yeah,
too.
different fills and stuff. Yeah, lots and lots of options. Beginner all the way to advanced. 13 hours. It comes with 3 PDF workbooks. We're adding workbooks soon. So, yeah, and so basically what we're doing is Lionel's going to play a challenge beat, I'm going to call it. And the first 3 people to figure out the beat and post a video of themselves playing it on YouTube will get one of the drum rudiment system packs. Okay? And so I'm going to be reviewing the submissions, and then the ones that I think are close, I might forward to Lionel if you want to check them out.
Sure.
Yeah? And then we'll judge the winners. But so there's only 3 packages, okay? 3 drum rudiment system packs for whoever can figure out this beat and post a video of themselves playing it on YouTube. Now, one catch is on your video on YouTube, you have to put in the title, you have to put freedrumlessons.com. Okay? So if you don't put that in the title, you are not, you won't be qualified to win. So if you send me your submission, I'll tell you you have to change that. So you might as well just say, make sure it says freedrumlessons.com in the title, and then post a video of yourself playing the beat at more than 70 beats per minute. Does that sound all right?
Sure. It actually might be kind of tricky at that tempo because it's got some double strokes in there and that.
What do you
so
think then? 60?
80 to 100 probably.
Oh, okay. Well, I'm saying the minimum of 70.
Oh, at minimum.
So it just has to be above 70.
Yeah, sure.
And they can play it at 400 if they want.
Okay, well, that would be a little bit tricky.
Okay, so why don't you play us a beat? You can play it fast and then slow it down, and then maybe just give a little tutorial on it, and then the users can start practicing right away.
Okay,
Okay?
sounds good. I gotta remember how it goes. Not that little thing at the end there, but it's basically starting with a 9-stroke roll, which is just. But your hands are alternate, or one's on the hat, one's on the snare, so it goes. And your hands are alternating throughout the whole thing, just 16ths. But what, again, it's taking place is the motions and the accents within that beat that help us to groove. So we got it going. If I play just the hands, it goes. And that's on the of 2. That snare on the left hand. So still alternating the whole thing. Right hand comes to the snare on beat 2. Okay, and then you have an accent on the hi-hat on the and of 3, and then the snare played on the and of 4. So you go. Sorry. And then the kick drum is just on 1 and on the and beat 4. The of 3 and beat 4. So now you have. Sorry, I missed it there. So now I'm going to try to do that slower. There's a point where the stick naturally bounces to make the double easier, so it can get a bit trickier doing it slower. That's why I was suggesting not doing it too slow, because it actually makes it harder. So you got like this. Whoops.
Cool.
Something like to take it even slower than that becomes harder because of
the bouncing.
Because of the bouncing.
Yeah, yeah. Cool. Okay, so like I said, the first 3 people to post a video of themselves on YouTube playing that beat with freedrumlessons.com in the title and emailed me, okay, jared@railroadmedia.com. Hopefully that's on screen now. Jared, Jared @railroadmedia.com. First 3 people to do that get a free drum rudiment system package. Okay?
So if I mail that in, does that mean I get one too?
Yeah, you already did it.
Oh,
I think you can have one, Lionel.
Thanks,
You're the one who
I
did it. But other than that, I want to thank you again. And thanks, Dave, for coming out and typing comments the whole time.
Yeah.
It's very kind of you.
Actually, I've been browsing YouTube videos. I don't know what's going on right now.
Cool. So thanks again, and thanks all you for coming out. I look forward to seeing your submissions, and hopefully Lionel had fun, and he'll come back in the future and do some more of these lessons for us.
Cool.
But other than that, thanks so much, and we will see you next week, Tuesday. We're doing a lesson with Jason Cleaver from Casey Drums on how to buy a drum set and what to look for.
What time is that? Is that at 1 or 4?
That's 4 o'clock.
4 o'clock. So
Pacific
it's back
time.
to the regular time on Tuesday?
On Tuesday. Yeah.
Perfect.
Great. So see you guys later.
See you guys.